find the easiest way to start this process is to thank God. So thank you for this opportunity to share a little bit of my life with you guys. I have this hematite stone that I promised you guys I was going to show you how to wrap. It is just a tumbled stone. It's not a cabochon, so the sides outside of it are not all even. So you just have to kind of work with the wire as you're moving. What I've done is cut a little piece of string just to go around the outside of it, just as a measuring tool. So you take your wire and kind of get a double length of your string here with your wire, and one, two, and then you will go on and just cut that. I've pre-cut 2 lengths of this wire just for speed here for you guys. So this would be considered your base wire. This is my base wire is copper with a black plastic coating. Copper is my favorite wire. You will, I guess, figure out your own favorite. I'll take the string and kind of put that right in the middle, and towards the end of that is where I'm going to start weaving my working wire. I always leave a little bit of a tail there, maybe 6 inches or so, just on the outside, just in case I need a little something for the finished product here. So I'll take my working and weaving, my base wire. I'm going to wrap my working wire around it 5 times just to get a nice secure hold. But 5 is actually going to be the number that I use through the duration of this particular pattern. And I always push the coils together so you get a nice little seamless look. You can use a tool to do that. Just depends on you. A lot of us use our fingernails. That's kind of why our fingernails are jacked up. But you can use a tool too if you want to save your nails. You can use needle nose or the little hook pliers, whatever you want, whatever's comfortable. So now that I have this attached to my base wire, my first one, I'm going to take my other base and get a good space in there, put my stone up to it, the starting place for it, just this piece of the side right in here, and take this narrow part for it first, and just kind of do like a rough measurement here so I know how big a space I need to start with. Then I am going to wrap this working wire around the second base, kind of secure that in there, and I'm going to do this also 5 times. Okay, so now I have a link between the two, and I'm going to take this same idea and do this over and over and over, going back and forth between the 2 base wires. So now that I have this first length and the space that I need, and again, remember, this is not a cabochon that I'm using, so I am actually going to allow for space to grow. This is going to widen out and then narrow back down when I'm finished. So I'm going to do a couple more loops just so you can see what I'm doing, and then we'll move on. So again, I am doing a figure 8. The figure 8 is going to go from the outside of this first base to the other side of the other base. And when you're done, it should look like a figure 8, just an 8. All right. And again, wrapping 5 times after each loop. When you move from base to base, that is part of your pattern. So that five set is again part of the pattern. And we push these together. As you get further into the pattern, this process gets a lot easier, a lot faster once you kind of catch a rhythm. But for the first portion of it, you take your time, get the look you want, make sure all your wires are secure, and then you'll build speed with that. Again, 5 is the number. There we go. So it comes around this wire and then on the outside of the other base. I don't know if you can see this too well. Maybe next time I'll switch it up. Get a different camera angle for you guys. But so this is what this looks like so far. It's not very easy to see here. I'll have to work on that so that it's easier for you guys to see. Anyways, so that is the start of that. And like any good cooking show, I have I have a finished product for you where that step is concerned, so that we can move right into the next one. So you will see here, I actually switched up the working wire. I just did the copper on that one, just to show you. So I have my 2 base, and then I have my working wire, and you'll see what I was saying, how I had to widen it out some and bring it back in, because the tumbled stone, again, doesn't have even sides. And we want it to wrap around there to lock in the stone so it doesn't fall out. This process is very simple. You are going to line your stone up with your weave here and just wrap it around the outside of the stone. And it's that simple. There we go. I do love wrapping. Man, it's always fun when you find something that you enjoy doing. I mean, develop it, make it your skill set, turn it into your business. I mean, that's what life is about, is enjoying what you do, enjoying your time. If you're somewhere that you absolutely hate to be, or, don't wake up going, yes, finally, I get to go back to work, then you're doing the wrong thing. So, just a little bit of advice from one to another. Okay, so I have this all the way around my stone, and as you'll see, it's just gonna lock it in really nice. I've kept the wire that was originally around it. This was from several years ago when I first started wrapping. And this little spiral in there. I'm gonna keep that same idea with this. So you get to see the before and after. This was very simple. So my talents have grown with this. My skills have grown, which is why people pay me for my stuff now. So again, find something you love to do, develop the skill, turn it into a business. All right, so now that I have this all the way around here, I'm going to try to decide which side I want for the front and which side I want for the back. I might do this one. Okay, so this side's going to be my front, and I'll leave this for my back. So this is going to be my bale wire here. Just gonna move this, just kind of get this out of the way for now. Cross these over so that I don't lose my stone in this process here. cross these over and just kind of let them rest here while I work on the front side. This is actually going to be really cool. All right. Let's see. Ooh, I think what I'm going to do is, and this is how I do it. I don't ever plan out my wraps ahead of time. I don't sketch them out. This is all freestyle, just in the moment, what I feel. So you just get to kind of see what I do. Everyone does their own thing, so don't feel like if you do need to sketch it out that that's wrong. There are plenty of really talented people that I've seen, and that's their process. So there you go. It could be yours too. This is just mine. All right. I am going to continue this pattern a little bit into these two base wires. Right now I am just wrapping this one side until it can meet up with this other one. Then I'm going to create a pattern between the two. Let's see. Which way do I want you to go? Yeah. Okay. So I think I'm gonna change my mind already. So I'm gonna keep this single base solo here, but what I'm going to do is wrap my working wire around it several times to give it a little more texture. There we go. And I'm just going around the base wire with my working wire. I'm not weaving it into anything else other than just itself. So it's very simple. You're just going around, and I'm using my fingers to keep the working wire from going all over the place. We're just going around and around and around. A useful tip. You can always do multiples and then scrunch it together. You don't have to do one loop at a time. But of course, you just have to do what's comfortable for you. So if that works, then do it. Okay. And I will say this, you want to be kind of gentle with your working wire. Since it's the thinner gauge, you just want to make sure you don't overwork it because it will make it really brittle. Especially if it doesn't have any extra coating on it to protect it. Copper wire especially will do that. I'm not saying you have to put on kid gloves and, move very slow or whatever, but just some useful information. As you see, like I'm pulling the working wire against my base. So it can take a little bit of abuse, but not a whole lot. You don't want to have to undo anything and then redo. That would compromise the structure of your piece. So just keep that in mind. Last thing you want is for your jewelry to fall apart on you. Your stone just lost forever. Again, wire weaving is so easy. Feel free to fast forward this part if it is boring to you. But for now, just so I have this tutorial together for everybody, it's just what we're doing. All right. Oh, that's gonna be good. Okay, so I am going to cut my working wire. I'm gonna leave a little bit of a tail just in case I need it. There we go. So now I have successfully put that nice little loop all the way around. Spiraled that right up to here. I didn't go all the way to the end of this base because frankly, I'm not going to need that much of it. Again, I'm doing just a nice spiral on the front side of this stone. So there's that. I'm going to attach this weaved wire, this spiraled wire, to the opposite side of this stone here. So I have, this is the spiral, and I'm going to just attach it right here by just weaving a wire right into between the two. And when I'm done, it will be seamless. And if yours is not seamless, it's okay. Again, we all have to start somewhere. Believe me, my first set of stone wrappings, jewelry, was not beautiful. It was more about highlighting the stone itself. But as I've grown, I really love making the piece as beautiful as the stone is to me. So I just take a little bit of extra care in there with this. There we go. And this will actually lay right in. It will lay right in there so that it fits securely. Just remember all the loops we did around the base, the weaving we did around the base. We are literally squeezing this new working wire right in between the other weave, and it just sits perfectly in there. Again, that's how you get your seamless look. If you can't quite seem to get it to lay flat, grab some needle nose, pliers, and just kind of press it down in there. You don't want to go too rough with it. Again, you don't want it to break. And if you have a coated one, coated wire, you will chip off the plastic, and the underwire will show, which isn't horrible, but you know, depends on how you feel about that. I mean, I like copper. Again, that's my main wire that I use. I do use silver sometimes. All right, so now that I have the working wire securely in place with the outside of this weave, I'm wrapping it around the spiral wire now to kind of lock it in place so that it doesn't move. the other reason I'm doing this spiral is to just give a little extra security for the stone. This black wire on hematite is definitely a challenge to see, but once it's all done, it will all make sense. It will all make sense. And this is definitely something, if you're a beginner at this wire weaving, I definitely encourage you to be patient with yourself. You're not going to, well, I don't want to limit your success with your wrappings, so I'm not, but just be patient. It's like with any skill, any art, you know, you have some people that just pick it up super fast, but if that's not you, that's okay. It really is okay. Everybody starts somewhere, and the more they do, the better they will be. Again, everybody has to start somewhere, so don't be afraid to start. Don't let fear of failure stop you from trying something new. Okay. All right. I think we've got this side pretty well locked in there. Okay. So now I'm going to cut off the end of this working wire. Make sure he's in the loop there. And I'm going to take my flush cutters. Not flesh, flush. And just clip that off right there. And take my pliers and make sure that it is secure in that spiral. So now you'll see it's really good attached right there. It came all the way up from here and is locked in here, and this is where the spiral will be, right in here. Easy. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut a portion of this tail off right here. I'm going to leave a little bit of space between the spiral and the end of this wire that's not needed. There's a lot of wires going on here. Let me move these out of the way for you. So this one that has all the spiral on it, I'm going to cut the portion that doesn't have the spiral. I'm going to come up a little bit from where the spiral is and just cut that. I want a little bit of room here. The reason I'm leaving that little piece is as I'm turning, as I go to spiral it, you're going to need room for the spiral to spread. So that is why I'm doing that. I'm going to take my little pliers here and grab the very end of this wire and just kind of roll it in. Yep. Just rolling it in. There we go. Perfect. All right, and there it is. So I'm going to, that little bit of tail that I had on the end of that, the working wire that was on the end of that base, I'm going to take that and wrap it around one time so that I have a little, again, a little extra security in there. Perfect. And then I'm going to cut it off. I just take my flush cutters again and go right up to the edge of that and clip. And take your pliers and kind of work that into the spiral so that it doesn't get snagged on clothes or anything like that. Trust me, your sweaters will appreciate you for your little bit of extra care. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit more of this working wire and attach it to the other side of the spiral.